What happened? I didn't get the job.
Wait. The consulting job. The one you have been talking about nonstop.
Yes, that one. The job I prayed about, dreamed about, and basically poured my soul into. They gave it to someone else. Oh, Leonora. I'm so sorry. Did they say why? Well, the email they sent said all the right things, impressed with my skills, highly qualified, blah, blah, blah. But apparently, someone with more experience was just a better fit. That's so frustrating. You worked so hard for this. Exactly. I did everything right. I prayed. I fasted. I even wrote out my vision board like the pastor suggested. I thought God was leading me to this.
Maybe he was leading you. Just not to this job.
Oh, please, Jason. Don't start with the "it wasn't meant to be" speech. That doesn't help right now.
Fair. But hear me out.
No, Jason. I don't want to hear it. I'm tired of people telling me God has a plan. What about my plan? Does that not matter? Leonora, I get it. You are angry. You have every right to be. But don't let this moment make you lose sight of who God is. And who is he exactly, Claire? Because right now, he feels like a God who doesn't care.
He does care, Leonora. More than you realize. It's okay to feel angry and hurt. But don't bottle it up. Take it to him.
I don't even know how to pray about this. What should I say? Hey God, thanks for crushing my dream? You don't have to have the perfect words. Just be honest. God is big enough to handle your anger.
I have yelled at God before. Trust me, he can take it.
I just don't understand. I have been faithful. I have done everything the right way. Why does it feel like nothing is working? Because sometimes God's not yet feels like a no. But that doesn't mean he has forgotten you.
You remember how long I was stuck after graduation? No job, no direction, nothing. I was so angry with God, I almost walked away from my faith. But then something happened.
What?
I got a job offer that was better than anything I had imagined. And looking back, I realized the doors God closed were protecting me from settling for less.
What if this was my better? What if there is nothing else? Leonora, God's plans are never nothing else. You don't see the whole picture yet. Trust me, it's going to be bigger than anything you imagined. I barely slept. Kept replaying everything in my head. My answers in the interview, the way they smiled, all the tiny details. It just doesn't make sense.
It's not supposed to make sense right now. Funny that it might not even make sense in the long run, and that's the hard part.
Then what's the point? Why lead me to believe this was it? Why let me pour months into preparing for something that wasn't meant to be? Maybe it wasn't about the job. Maybe it was about something else. Your growth, your trust in God. Claire, I'm tired of hearing that. Trusting God isn't easy when it feels like he is silent.
You are right. It's not easy. But you are not the first to feel this way. Think about Joseph in Egypt. Sold by his brothers, thrown into prison, forgotten. He must have felt abandoned too.
I'm not exactly a Joseph.
Maybe not, but the principle is the same. He didn't see the bigger picture until later. God was working the whole time, even in the silence.
It's okay to doubt, to cry, to ask why. But don't let this moment make you lose sight of God's faithfulness. I just don't want to feel like this anymore. I don't want to feel abandoned. It's not exactly the best feeling.
Then tell him that. Pray. Say everything you are feeling. God is not scared of your honesty.
A verse that helped me when I thought God wasn't listening. Psalm 34 verse 18, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted, and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Crushed in spirit. That's one way to put it, but it doesn't take away from the fact that that's exactly how I feel.
And he is right there with you, Leonora. You are not as alone as you think.
Thank you. For being here, for not letting me drown in this.
Always.
Ah, Leonora, it's good to see you again. You haven't been in for a while. How are you? Hi, Mrs. Jenkins. Yes, it's been a busy few weeks. You look like someone carrying a heavy load. Everything all right? You know I do have a few minutes to spare for my favorite library attendee. I have had better days. Just trying to figure things out. Well, if you would like to talk, I have got ears. Did I mention about the few minutes I have to spare as well, and some tea brewing in the back? Thanks, but I don't want to take up your time. You have been coming here for years, Leonora. If you can't sit and chat with an old lady who cares, then what is the world coming to? All right, you win. So, what has got you in knots? I didn't get a job I really wanted. I thought it was perfect. Something I really prayed for, something I was sure was part of God's plan. But it didn't happen, and now I just feel lost. Disappointments can cut deep when it's something that you really wanted, and more especially when we tie them to our faith. But why would God let me get so close, just to say no? Let me ask you this. Have you ever made bread? Bread? What does bread have to do with this? Just tell me. I have tried. And it didn't go well. It's tricky, isn't it? You knead the dough, let it rise, and just when you think it's ready, you punch it down. Yeah, but why are we talking about bread? Sometimes, God does the same with us. The dough isn't ready for the oven yet. The punching down isn't to destroy it. It's to prepare it for something better. So, you are saying this rejection is just me getting punched down. Perhaps. It doesn't feel good in the moment, but the baker knows what he is doing, and you get to enjoy really good bread afterwards. I have never thought of it that way. When you trust the process, Leonora, you will see that his plans are far better than anything you could imagine. I will bring you some tea. And remember, sometimes the greatest blessings come after the biggest disappointments. Okay. Trusting the baker. God. Whatever you have planned, I'm ready to trust you.
I have to say, Leonora, your background is impressive. What stood out most to me was your involvement in local mentorship programs. That's exactly the kind of initiative we value here.
Thank you. Working with those programs was a learning experience for me too. Seeing lives change through small acts of guidance and encouragement. It's rewarding in ways I can't even explain.
That's exactly what our organization is about. We are not just about big projects or flashy results. We are about real, lasting impact. And frankly, your perspective is exactly what we have been looking for.
I'm honored to hear that. But if I may ask, why now? I mean, I didn't apply for this position. I didn't even know about this organization until I received your email yesterday.
A mutual connection recommended you. Someone who thought you would be perfect for this role. And after reviewing your profile, I couldn't agree more.
May I ask who the connection is?
Mrs. Jenkins. She has been a supporter of our initiatives for years, and when she mentioned your name, we had to look into you.
Mrs. Jenkins. The librarian? When did she even have time for this?
She is more than just a librarian. She is a firm believer in connecting people with purpose. And it seems she was right about you.
I didn't expect this.
Leonora, this isn't just a job offer. It's a leadership role, overseeing a brand new branch we are opening. I believe you are the perfect fit.
Leadership role? That is more than I ever imagined. Do not get me wrong, I am willing to put effort into this, but I wasn't sure it was going to be a leadership role. I thought it was going to be an internship situation. Something similar to the job I applied to last.
Sometimes the best opportunities come out of nowhere. What do you think? Are you ready for the challenge?
Of course I am ready. Enthusiastic me will definitely say more than ready.
Welcome aboard then, Leonora.
I can't believe this, Leonora. A leadership role? That's huge. When did you apply for the position? I know. It still feels surreal. I mean, just yesterday, I was sitting in the library, wondering what I would do next. And now, this. And guess what? I did not even have to apply.
God's timing, right? This is what we have been praying for. I am afraid, but I have to say I called it. I knew something big was in the works, specifically for you, Leonora, and you see, I might have been right.
Yes. It's funny. When I didn't get the other job, I thought everything was falling apart. But now, I see it wasn't falling apart. It was falling into place in the famous words of you, Jason. Preach, sister. And honestly, this job sounds way more you, making a real difference. It's like it was tailor-made for you. It really does feel that way. And you know what is crazy? Mrs. Jenkins is the one who connected me to this.
The librarian?
Yep. Turns out, she is a longtime supporter of the organization. It's amazing how God uses people you least expect. And to think she was just cheering me up with a cup of tea. She got me a whole job. We should definitely do a cookie toast to Mrs. Jenkins. The hero we didn't know we needed.
So, when do you start? But honestly, I wouldn't trade this moment for anything. Well, here's to new beginnings and better plans.
All right, team, here is the plan. By the end of this quarter, we aim to make higher sales than the previous quarter. We will focus on not just deliverables, but building confidence and trust in our clients. That's ambitious, Leonora. But with the impact we have already seen, I'm sure we can do it. Ambition is good. But remember, our focus is on quality, not just numbers. If we can make a difference in one client, the ripple effect can be extraordinary.
Spoken like someone who has seen it happen.
I have lived it, Mark. That's why I'm so passionate about this work. Mrs. Jenkins. I didn't expect to see you here. You know me, Leonora. Books and young minds are my calling. And it's a joy to see this place thriving. And it's all thanks to your brilliant ideas. I knew that day that you would be a great fit. I can hardly believe it myself sometimes. I can. I told you before, didn't I? God had something better in store for you. You were right. If I would gotten that other job, I would have been too busy, too distracted. I wouldn't have had time for this. Sometimes, God says no, because He is preparing us for a bigger yes. I see that now. And I'm so grateful. I'm happy for you. I wouldn't change a thing. His plans are perfect. Trust the baker. For a long time, I thought my plans were best. I fought hard to achieve what I wanted, only to find myself rejected and heartbroken. But through the heartbreak, God showed me a path I never expected, one where I could truly flourish, grow, and serve. His plans are always greater. And now, I know. I wouldn't want it any other way.